I was chatting with a listener recently of the show who was currently on the hunt for a director of marketing operations role. One company he was interviewing with was looking. I wouldn't like qualify this as a unicorn, but it's an interesting kind of mix of the two. So the role was like director of marketing operations, but they were looking for this director to own both Martech and analytics. And in like big companies, those are usually like two separate roles, oftentimes like two separate departments. Would be like a data team and then the Martech team. The data team does like multi-touch attribution, like analysts, like all the analysis, like the dashboarding, the pipeline stuff. And the Martech folks are building out integrations and change management and like teaching how to use the tool and all that stuff. But so for this company, they were hoping this director of mops person to be doing the two, and this wasn't a startup because like typically in a startup, this person's wearing both hats. This was like a 200 person plus company, and usually you would find those into two different teams. So I'm curious, what advice would you have for people who are looking to specialize in a sub area of marketing ops like analytics or martech? And like, how do you feel about these like opposing forces of employers who are looking to consolidate all of these functions into a single person?
Yeah, that's a very interesting question, and this is something I've seen um, currently very becoming a big trend, right? Where employers are trying to multi functions, right? We're moving into this space where the employers expect more with less. So this is exactly this example of putting two functions that normally would sit together,
Yeah.
handling person, right? And I feel this has its own um, positives and negatives. For someone very senior, there is definitely a negative at times once you or let's say challenge, rather, because once you specialize in an area, you want to build on that strength rather than spreading out, because that's where you get value. Maybe you have a team that is specialized in that area, on the other areas. And for me, someone starting out or in that middle for a jump, and has been generalist, it's actually a good move, right? So it really depends first on that. But my advice would be that most of us, or there's been a time where I started as I'm going to call it like a name shape, which means I have very verticals of expertise across multiple areas. But then the economy has changed and say now you have to be a T shape, right? We have a strong knowledge into one specific area and a broad range in one area. So we're coming back to this M-shaped expertise again. And what I would like to see in these types of, let's say, amalgamations of roles from the employers is that also the remuneration, right? The package offered to those going through it should be equal to that specific increase of scope, right, for the same person, which at times is not, but it would be nice that it is. So what I would actually then say for someone looking into specialize in those areas is first really understand the foundations and the basic principles of what they want to do. They should speak to professionals already doing it. Again, I'll focus on second degree, third degrees, like connections who are doing those roles. And really understand some of the ones who are actually doing it, how are they doing it, and being part of those communities. And also, whilst in that process, if you said, okay, my skill is more into one on the analytics content, be quite clear and then find out the expectations, right? And then we said, okay, normally those skills do come apart. This is the best that I could do, but then you can set up a plan or a learning plan of learning about those other parts that you might not know. And then doing this, speaking with communities, getting certifications if needed, will help out. But I think there needs to be a growth mindset. And nowadays, I think that as marketeers, we actually need to know and specialize in vertical areas. Again, like before. But this is the nowadays challenge. And I think also we should push back at times with the employees. The employees would say the value you get from the person, focusing one thing that they really know and focus, it's much greater than spreading the person thin. Maybe the person in the beginning can do that, but then build up a team underneath support and maximize. That's my advice a bit different parts, but that would be really the best recommendation I would give to someone new to starting.